Good afternoon, everybody. How was the lunch? Good. Let's start with 2 questions, just to kind of like make sure that everybody is awake after lunch. Please raise hands. How many of you think that training is important? Good. Most hands are up. Second question, how many of you have attended any training session this year? Please raise your hand. Roughly half. Excellent. This was a positive surprise. Good. So I'm here to talk about the role of training in decarbonizing the marine. So I'm working for a company called Wärtsilä. Wärtsilä is a global leader in decarbonization of marine and energy markets. The company has been around for 189 years, so quite a long time. We have operations in almost 70 countries with 17,000 employees globally. Today, Wärtsilä is all about decarbonization, and this can also be seen in our sustainability targets for 2030, which is split into 2 different parts. For our customers, we are committed to providing a new portfolio of engines and equipment that are running on zero carbon fuels, so the future fuels, whether it's methanol, ammonia, hydrogen. But also internally, we're committed to having our own operations completely carbon neutral by 2030. So decarbonization, huge thing in Wärtsilä. And how do we do it? It is all about looking at our customers and looking at each vessel at a time. If it's an existing ship, how can we help the customer do the switch and turnover on the existing fleet? Maybe there are some retrofit of energy saving technology that we can provide. Maybe it's just giving guidance on reducing the speed, maybe using low carbon fuels. Whatever the options are, we are there to support them. On the longer run, we're looking at the new builds. So how can we manufacture, produce, develop multi-fuel engines which are then running on zero carbon fuels? And in addition to the multi-fuel engines, we're also looking at hybrid solutions. So what if they would have an engine running on those fuels, but in addition to the engine, they would also have a battery set where they could utilize that as well. So this is what we're doing as a company. And then what does this mean in practice? Because yeah, it's all good stuff, great stuff, but how shall we implement it? And even the bigger question is that how shall we implement it safely? Because that's what matters at the end of the day. Wärtsilä has a culture where safety is a core value. You can see it in the internal meetings. If we have a town hall, if we have internal meetings, it always starts with a safety moment where people are sharing safety-related topics. Earlier today we heard that companies are not always sharing the safety hazards. We have a habit internally to sharing everything so that people avoid making the same mistakes again. We also have safety flashes, emails going back and forth. Again, sharing the information. Because once you share it and it comes all the way from the top management, it will enable us to change the safety culture and the safety mindset internally. Then, how does this tie into training? So, I am representing the Wärtsilä Land and Sea Academy. I'm heading that in Wärtsilä. We have training centers around the world. We have 2 primary audiences. We have our own field service organization, so the people who are doing the commissioning on board the ships, and we also have our customers. And when we develop the training programs and the training content, we need to look into multiple different topics in order to make sure that we cover all of the safety aspects comprehensively. And the areas that we're looking into is rules and regulations. This is fairly trivial. The way we look into this is that when our R&D starts looking at developing a new engine, a new concept using new fuels, the work starts years before the product is ready and installed in a customer vessel. So throughout that time, we're closely collaborating with the R&D, taking all the learnings, all the information we can get from them, and then embedding that into our training content. And also in the rules and regulations side, Wärtsilä as a company is also proactively engaging with all the regulatory bodies and making sure that we stay on top of the game, but also that we are providing our input into the regulations that are being determined. When it comes to the products and systems, again, we are talking internally with our technology experts. It's important for us that we have the training teams co-located with our R&D and our manufacturing in as many locations as possible, because while everybody's now used to using Teams and having those meetings, phone calls, all of that, nothing beats face-to-face interaction with people. So we go, we know where they're having coffee, we go there, we get the information. Same with the production. So this is crucial for us. Next one is the safe operations. Wärtsilä, as mentioned, has been around for almost 200 years. We have a lot of experience on the former products. For example, now that we're talking about the future fuels, we have experience on gas engines for more than 3 decades already. And a lot of similarities can be found with the gas engines and the future fuels. So we have a lot of that as well. Every engine that is manufactured at our production is also going through a test run process. So we have facilities where we are test running each engine. That test running process is also critical for us, because on the training side, we get to know about all the hiccups and everything that is going on during the test run processes. And again, that's a learning point that we can take, embed it into the training programs and share that with everybody else. For example, when we started testing the methanol engines, first of all, there were certain safety regulations. We tripled them to make sure that everybody was actually safe in that testing. Then the outcome was that we learned that when you are running on methanol and then you stop the engine, the methanol remains, or methanol fumes remain in certain parts of the engine, which to us in training is critical information, because when we go and train the customers, we can tell them that, okay, when you stop running the engine, you can actually expect to see some remainings in these parts of the engines. Same with the fuel changeover process, which is quite common in the current operations. We can also try out that in our test run laboratory. Personal safety. In our training centers, we have our own equipment, the engines, whatever equipment it is, to do practical hands-on exercises. And we are showcasing also the personal protection equipment. So whenever we go from the classroom to do hands-on exercises, we make sure that everybody's wearing the safety shoes, everybody's wearing the overalls, everybody has the hard hats. We have proper tools. We make sure that we check that the tools are in order, so we can use them. So it's kind of like also encouraging all the customers to really focus on the safety mindset. And we're proud of making that a habit internally in all the trainings that we have. Last but not least, on the areas that we look at is then, what if something goes wrong? What if there is an accident? Those always happen, as we learned today. So what is the procedure that we should then follow in order to mitigate the accident? What can we do to learn from the accident? In our training centers, for example, we're using certain chemicals, and there's always a folder next to the chemicals with the chemical safety data sheets. And we make sure that all the students know, if anything happens, here is where you have the data sheet, so you can see how to behave with that chemical. In the Wärtsilä Land and Sea Academy, as mentioned, we're using all this internal information when we develop training programs. We always pilot the programs internally to collect additional information from the internal audience. As mentioned, we are training our field service engineers. They have, in most cases, traveled around the world on different installations, different ships. They have a lot of experience. They are sharing that experience with us. Again, another entry point of data that we can embed into the training programs. So this is how we're building them. But then the last part, and not the least, so how do we tie it all together with the customers? So we have a portfolio of all kinds of trainings, whether it's face-to-face, virtual, e-learning, you name it, we have it available. But at the end of the day, that's not what matters. The thing that matters is that we go and speak with the customer, each customer individually. We find out what are the exact needs of that customer. While there are global regulations and rules and safety things on certain topics, each customer can still have their own independent rules and regulations, procedures. So let's embed those into the training programs. And the outcome is that you can have two different customers with same equipment but two completely different training programs. Also, what we do is that we're utilizing our own in-house experts, in many cases the field service engineers, as a flex instructors. So if there's a training requested by the customer that goes so deep into the things that our classroom trainers are not familiar with, that we use the flex instructors so that they can help with that one. And to wrap it up, so training is important. We have done training, everybody has done training for years and years and years. What changes now is the decarbonization and the future fuels that it's bringing with them. There are a new set of regulations, a new set of rules, a new set of safety aspects that we have to take into account, and we have to train our customers so that they also know how to behave with the new world. Thank you.